All right, so I wanted to make this video a little bit more in depth. I just shot a video that was just kind of like the do's and the don'ts of trading QFL. But when I shoot a video, usually I have a purpose, and I haven't shot videos in a while. Like the crypto market kind of died off. And now we've got this next halving phase that we're in right now. And instead of having like a set itinerary, I just kind of wanted to have a couple of pieces that I have available to talk about, because I'm not really sure what I want to talk about, but I know there's valuable information that needs to be looked over, but I'm not really exactly sure how to outline it, but it's just really worth looking at, especially right now, just while it's on the top of my mind. Right now, this is really interesting. So this is the stock to flow chart, and the thing about this chart is if you've seen it, then you know this chart. But the deal with this chart is basically whenever it turns yellow, that's usually the height of it. Whenever it turns green, that's usually like the low. That's all you really need to know. I don't want to go too advanced into explaining it, but that's really the main thing that's going on, because Bitcoin is deflating, so they're deleting Bitcoins essentially. That's not exactly what's happening, but in like the most currencies, they're printing more of it. With Bitcoin, they are making more Bitcoins, but they're making less and less Bitcoins. So again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but here's something interesting. So, and you can learn more about this, just, YouTube search for stock to flow model Bitcoin. And there's all kinds of videos explaining it. And it's honestly above my head in terms of how they're able to get all of these numbers. But the most important thing that I'm looking at is the patterns that the chart provides. And something interesting is happening on this chart right now, and that is when it turns orange, normally you can see that it moves away from this orange line right here. So here's the first time it did that, and then here's the second time that it did that, and then here's the third time that it did that, and now here's where we are, and it's going below, and I think I can zoom in, but you can see that it is going below this line. And for me, there's something interesting about that. And I think I will pull this chart up. So while I'm here, I'm going to show you something really cool. You can search in Trading View. You can go to Index. You can just type in crypto, but I think it's the total 3. So, well, I mean, we could do total 2. So this is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, okay? And if we go in on like a daily, actually, no, a weekly. Let's take off these indicators. You can see that we're creating a double top right here. So here was the height of the last market bull run. And then here we are again. And then what's even crazier is if we go to total 3, kind of the same thing. It's a little bit higher than I actually thought it would be. And I think that's because of, poor Ethereum. I mean, for real, here's their all-time high. And I think Ethereum really is causing a lot of it. But if you were to go to compare Ethereum versus Bitcoin, you can, it's really visible right here. And it's been playing this game with Bitcoin this entire time of going up and down in value, but it's really tanking right now. So these are all things that I'm paying attention to when I'm looking at all of these things. But I wanted to go over a couple of things, and that is, I think that there's a lot of people that
want to trade QFL, but they don't really quite understand what's going on. And the moment that I really understood QFL was actually when I started trading with bots. But I started trading on like a 1 minute time frame, and this is a coin right now that's like a perfect example that we could take a look at. But before we take a look at this, I'm going to turn the indicator on, and I just want to explain something that I explained to somebody else recently that doesn't really know a lot about crypto. I was helping them just get crypto set up on their phone so they could just buy it and look at it, just kind of like hodling or whatever. And they saw this, and this is the Vinny QFL indicator by ProSum Solutions, and it is a paid indicator. I've said this a million times. It used to be free. Now they're charging for it, and rightly so, because it's amazing. But I showed him this, and I was explaining to him, at one point, this is what I was doing, very actively. And I said, every time that you see one of these blue triangles, I'm making a profit. And every time that it goes down deeper, I'm making double, triple, quadruple the profit. So if I was making $2 here, I'd be making $4 here, $8 here, 16 and 32 in this particular martingale setup. And this guy had been in retail. And when he heard me say that, it kind of shifted his mind. And I noticed that it shifted his mind. I'm like, that's the same reaction I had back then. And so I'm going to pull up just like a couple of screenshots. I do want to actually show you this screenshot here in a second. This is a QFL screenshot that I've talked about before. But these are some of the trades that the bot does, like when you see it on an actual chart, what it looks like. So here again, here's the indicator, and this is on a 1 minute chart, and a lot of these were on a 30-second chart, if you can believe that. But I'm just going to scroll through, and I just want to show you that every time that you see these little green arrows, it's like guaranteed profit, basically. So none of these trades are like fudged or like human error, essentially. Like each one of these, it's like I operate a McDonald's, and sometimes I sell, just a small fry. Sometimes I sell, a fry and a hamburger and a drink, like a combo meal. And so the further down it goes, then the bigger the order, or the bigger the profits that I'm making with this. Now, this isn't QFL. This is like a hybrid version of QFL, kind of like he had two strategies. One was the position trading, which is like slower and bigger amounts of money that you're trading with. But then he also had account building, which was if you had an account under $10,000, and so there was like this in between where you could kind of do both at the same time, and this was really where I started to wrap my head around the potential, because first off, when you're trading on a 30-second time frame, you're paying attention to the volatility, and when you're paying attention to the volatility, then you notice a couple things. And this is really, like I said, I don't really have like an outline of what I want to talk about, but there's specific things that I do want to talk about, and that is that I've seen this over and over again. When there's volatility, the chart does something really unique and special, and I think that is at the core of what's going on here. So I want to show you, if you pay attention down here, you can see, even though we're on a 1 minute chart, each one of these little candles represents 1 minute. But if there's not a lot of activity, then you can see right here, it's hard for me to like put my mouse down there without like wanting to just point my finger, because it kind of gets in the way of it. But you can see the 19th, the 21st, and the 23rd. And then there's like all of these candles between the 23rd and the 25th. And that just means that there was a lot of active trading going on. And so there was like a lot of bars of price action. So the reason why that the 21st to the 23rd doesn't have this giant amount of time right here, like normally it should be like that. And for most charts, it will look that way. Like if you're trading stocks or if you're trading Forex, there's like always price action going on. But in this case, something that's relevant is that there's buyers in the market. And that is like the number one thing about QFL is buyers in the market. And so once I was trading on these like 30-second charts with the ProSum Solutions QFL indicator, then I started realizing, going back on what QFL was saying, which was that, you know, the first thing that he does is he draws a base when there's a buyer reaction. So the first thing that needs to happen is there needs to be a buyer reaction. And if you know how business works, but also like how propaganda and like operating like a big money machine, right? Like if you're an exchange or if you're somebody with like billions of dollars, how you get people interested in something, there's marketing and advertising and propaganda and all kinds of stuff that goes in that creates interest, that creates buyers, that creates price action movement. And so in this case, I don't even know what this coin does. I am paying only attention to the volatility. And in this case, there's just like a lot of price action, a lot of movement for whatever reason, right? We don't know what has caused this just from looking at the screen, unless you know something that I don't. But in this case, what I'm presenting to you, we don't know what has caused it, but something has caused that. And then with any game like a casino or, you know, any type of like carnival game, the odds are always skewed in favor of the person trying to operate a business. And so they have to make more than they lose. And so the way that this game is set up is that most people, and like I was on my exchange and on my phone, on the phone app, and it had this pop up and it was trying to explain to me like fear and greed, and it had all these stats. Like it was trying to kind of be the responsible exchange and give me all this information about like fear and greed. And it had this statistic of people that had filled out a form, like giving their feedback of, this form that they had been presented with. And they were saying that 86% of people that took the form, or something along the lines of like 80 some odd people, were saying that their emotions got in the way of their trading decisions and that they felt like they were missing out, but they felt like there was still opportunities, and all different kinds of things basically pointing to what's happening, what we're seeing on this chart. Those are those same people that are making this chart look the way that it is. And those are the people that you need to understand, because those are your customers if you're going to operate this as a business. And I've described it before as like you're a tow truck company and you're helping tow people out of the ditch that have wrecked their car. But however you want to see this, the most important thing that I really want to convey right now is that there needs to be buyers in the market. And I feel like where a lot of people make a huge mistake in understanding all of this is they're trading either in markets where there's no buyers, or it's at the end of the life cycle of whatever marketing or propaganda or whatever's going on, right? They're coming up on the tail end of the show, because the show is the thing that brings in those 86% of the people that feel like they're missing out and that need to participate and let go because they're fearful. And obviously what gets them fearful is when there's like a sharp movement down. And that's when a lot of the profits can be made. And so when I saw the bot and I saw the volatility and I realized that money could be made in this way, then I started going back on QFL and realizing that I'd missed a lot of steps in what he was saying, because he does say everything. It's just that he can't say everything in one video, which I can relate to. Right now, there's a lot of things I want to say and talk about that I can't do in one video. And you can't systematically like list it all out, because there's kind of all of these like what ifs of that are specific to specific situations that can't be covered in just like a couple of, I mean, they could be covered in a couple of videos, but some of those things that are really important are that One of them being that when and let me show you really quick. This purple line right here is you being in profit. And so when you buy down here, usually Quick Fingers Luke, if you've watched any of his videos or understand any of the QFL strategy, the idea is that once you've gone down a certain percentage, then the likelihood of it going back up to where it once was at its original price, where you were to draw one of these lines. This isn't a good example because this is like a hybrid strategy, but what I want to show you is that as you come down, you're lowering the amount that you're selling, like you're giving a discount to your customers. And so that to me was like a really important aspect. Once I started seeing the way that this is working right here, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. These are my customers, right? These are the 80% of the people that feel like they're missing out on something. Okay, I need to understand my customers more. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is me, giving my customers a break. If it goes down really far, then I need to give my customers a break, because I'm not the only one that's making money here. There's this guy in between, me buying right here, and then this guy, he's going to buy it right here, and he's going to sell it further up. And so that shifted my whole mentality as well. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is a business. This is a full-on thing. But the problem that most people have when you come in to this space or this environment is, as a business, you understand like one static price. And if there is a dynamic price of wholesale, right? Usually the dynamic number is if you get more quantity, then you get it at a lower price. You buy in bulk. So that's the dynamic number. But really what's going on here is that with crypto, it's kind of like in algebra, you have that X variable. So the X variable that crypto introduces is like how high up in price are we? So and how long have we been this high in this price? And then have we recently gone down in price, right? You don't need to know which variable that I'm specifically talking about. You just need to know that there's like if you're accustomed to buying low and selling high, usually there's like these fixed prices of like how much something is. Like a gallon of gas, for instance, right now it's about $3, but I could probably, if I really wanted to get cheap gas, I could probably get it for like $2.50. If I used my apps and I could find out where and like find a really good day to buy the gas, right? I could get it at like $2.50. Whereas with crypto, the number that the price that gas is being the retail price is like currently $3. Like it's not gonna go over like $4 in the next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or it's not gonna go below $2.25, right, in the next couple of weeks. So there's like this locked in price that gas will be at here in my area. Whereas with crypto, the price can go up, and the same mentality will apply, but as the price of crypto goes up and goes down, you see what I'm saying? There's an X variable that's not like a static number where gas is going to be like this is the locked in price for a while, and it's going to slowly move up. Crypto, it can move up, it can move down, and the most important thing is to understand where price has recently been, how long it's been there, how fast it's moved up and moved down. But you don't really need to know all of that. I'm just showing you that, that's important in crypto when you're treating it like a business, is that a lot of people kind of get hurt thinking, well, it's this price and, I should be getting this much money. And I'm just showing you, hey, look, like if you're going to come into this space, then you need to understand something. And that is Just because there's buyers now doesn't mean there's going to be buyers tomorrow or in the next hour or in the next 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 1 minute. Like I've seen coins just die out like out of nowhere. I mean, even in this situation, like if you look at this, it was whippy, and then it just kind of like died out, and then it just kind of came back in like, a week or two later, and then it just like died out again. If you're trading this, you'd be like getting super pissed off as like a normal retail trader. But you can see with the bot, the robot just keeps trading and it just keeps making money. So now let's come back to these QFL screenshots. And he did this screenshot, okay? And this is something really, really like I had to force myself to learn this. And I've said it in other videos, but it's really important. So let's just pay attention to the highest number right here, which is 90 cents, okay? So right here is 90, and way down here at the bottom, this might be volume. So this might not be like a wick, because his wicks are gray. I believe, yeah, his wicks are gray. So that is like a volume bar. So he actually nailed it right at 30. So half of 90, okay, is 45 right here. And then if we were to draw the base like right here at 55, right? Half of 55, or even like, let's just say 60, right? Let's just make it a 60. Half of 60 is going to be 30. And this didn't get down to 45 right here. But the point being that 90 and then 45, that's like a 50% price swing. So these numbers right here, what the number currently is and how much you get as a business, that shouldn't matter, okay? And you've got to follow me all the way on this, because this is the real aha, or like the realization of what's going on here. And I'm going to show you, I recreated this with like a lot more detail. But the point is that it doesn't matter that it's 90. And to a large extent, it does matter how volatile it is and how big the swings are. Because, how recently was it, in the 30s or the 20s? Like obviously it was recent. So, easy come, easy go, I guess you could say. But that is part of it. But what the price isn't as relevant as the overall core concept of, hey, this is almost like immediately 50% off. So how is this person that's trading it right now going to feel when they thought this was going to go like super high, and they put in, sometimes people are throwing like $10,000. Some people are throwing in $100,000. Like they're just throwing in all of their money. And then it turns into half, okay? Like almost half right here. Like that's super scary for those people. And that to me is what's most important, is that the numbers don't necessarily matter. It's how your customer feels when they're trading. And so if you can wrap your head around that, then this is going to make a whole lot more sense. Because what you want to be doing is you want to be, if your money was like a vote, right? You want to be voting on when you think that they feel the most pain. And so you can see now that what he's saying is from here to here, he's like, I'm going to vote a little bit, just because he just can't help but just vote. And then right here, he's like voting right here. He's like, people are probably feeling pain right here. But then right here, he's like, yeah, people are feeling pain. And then when he sees it come down here, he's like, people are feeling some pain. And then if the big money, or the the exchange, the market makers, whoever you want to consider it, they're like torturing these people with like battery clamps, and they're like, all right, let up, then that's when the price starts to retract and come back. And I know that's like a really dark way of thinking about this, but if you look at this, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I've been doing this wrong. Like people aren't really feeling the pain. Like, yeah, sure, a lot of people exited right here. They're like, all right, enough, right? Like, all right. And then it's like, let's go back in again, because you can't really like bring the price back down to here and make them feel pain again. And so now they're like, all right, well, let's make you feel more pain. Let's make you feel more pain. And then you can see right here, it's like, ow, ow. And that's it. Like that's the one where everybody's like, they let go. They're like, I've had enough. Okay. Now let's look at the actual measurements. So, again, this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the amount of money that you might put in might be more static than where price is, but the amount of coins that you're getting would be more dynamic, right? So in this case, which I think he was probably trading a lot more than $10 right there. He was probably trading more like 100, possibly even, who knows? He could have been trading. I don't know. He never said, but he could be trading anywhere from $1 to $10 to $100. Just add an extra zero. That's probably what somebody was trading at these arrows, right? So here's the bounce right here. Okay. 24. Now you could say that the bounce was right here, but since he's drawing the base right here, this is his wholesale line. Okay. So the wholesale line is where people are like, the price is not going back down past this line. And so when it does, people are like, uh-oh. And it's that feeling of like if you've ever run a stop sign and it's a two-way and you're running a stop sign and here's a car coming and you're like, ooh, like that's how you want to see this line, is like when price crosses down and people are expecting it to go up and it doesn't go up, they're like, whoa, that's not supposed to happen, right? So that's really what this line is representing. And like, hopefully this is all changing, some of the psychology behind a lot of this. Because as it starts going down further and further, then when it really starts to hit right here, you can see this is where he's like, okay, let's put some money on. And then he's only making $40 profit. Now, if we come back to what I was doing, I was only making like every time that another layer would hit, then I'd make double the profits of what I would make if only one arrow hit. So I would want it to go down further, but the problem was that I wasn't hitting these huge trades, and it does take mental time. Like getting a bot to do a lot of those types of trades. I was focusing on it, but the market was dying out like right as I was having these ahas, like, oh, well, I'm only making this much on these trades and the price is going really far down. And yeah, I'm making consistent money, but when it really goes down to the very bottom, I'm not making nearly as much as what he's doing in terms of profits, because the exponential curve for QFL, how he's trading it, is so much smaller up top and so much larger at the bottom. And part of the problem with that is that it can get really scary going in with that much size all in one layer. Whereas if you see what I'm doing, I'm constantly resetting my small layers. And so I'm never really committing to like a really large size unless it's like way down here at the bottom. And then immediately I'm giving a discount, meaning, I'm exiting a lot quicker and I'm not making as much profit because it's kind of watered down, because I've been buying for so long that it's still keeping me in the red. So I'm still kind of like in debt from these like really high up purchases. So as I come down really low, I'm not buying nearly as much as he is, because a lot of my money is like put in the midway process and like further down right here. So the aha right here is that if you can memorize these numbers right here, then these are the numbers that are going to make you the most money right here. And that's why I have the screenshot. And that's why when I saw him do this, it was really important because he never really showed something like this. This was from the QFL Discord. And when I put it into this mode, I'll come back to the screenshot and keep looking at it over and over again. And I'll be like, there is something here that is really important. And so now that leads us to the next question. Well, why can't you make a bot out of it? And the reason that you can't make a bot out of it is you probably could, okay? And I did have ways of doing this, but the metrics that I needed in order to make it work was I wasn't paying attention to I would describe it like this. Think of a car, and a car can go a certain amount of miles or kilometers or whatever. And then you've also got the speed at which the car gets there. And so this is just the amount of distance that the car has gone. Okay, that's what this is based on. But for me, the metric that was most important was the speed at which all of a sudden it would go from here to here. So that was what was most important. But the problem with that is that to get that, oftentimes it would be too late. By the time that somebody would sell, this was just one button that they'd press. So they'd press the button, boom, it sells, and then that's it. So your money has to be on the books beforehand anyway. So it is really hard to pinpoint that, and you do have to prepare for that. The other thing is that when price is coming down like this and then it retracts back up, so like we're talking about not QFL but this particular indicator running on this particular layering strategy, there's something really valuable that it does where it resets right here. So price action, if there's whippiness as it's coming down, that's really valuable, okay? So if I were to create a bot that was not picking up on that little, okay, well, it came down and then it came back up right here. If I were to build a bot just based on the distance, right, from here to here and like where I would buy, then it would need to filter out all of these grinds. And that's not something that can be done easily. This is why, QFL really is one of those things that while it is really simple, there's certain things about doing it manually that just, even if it can be done by a bot, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. And it's definitely on my radar, but you can see that for me, having this particular bot showing me all of these things, like I can right now manually trade QFL with this particular hybrid bot. That's not a QFL bot. I can trade QFL with this bot, buying differently than how it's telling me to buy, buying how QFL tells me to buy. But here's the most important thing is these are the important numbers right here. The bounce was 24%. The drop was, in this case, 22%. And then in this case, the drop was 42%, a 42% drop from this particular base, okay? And that to me is really relevant because like I said before, here's the big thing. It went up to 90, okay? We were at 90 cents and then it went down to 30 cents. Like that's jaw dropping, like in a couple of days. If you look at this is the 26th of March, realistically like April, okay? So April 1st to like not even a month, okay? So within 1 month, it has lost way over 50% of its value. And that's when you're able to take those major mega trades, and you can see how much profit is made, and you can see how long that it took, because look, this went on for like a couple of days. And I feel like when most people are trading, that that they're wanting to, here's a really good example. Do you know how sometimes maybe you might do it, or maybe you hear somebody else doing it, but they're singing a song? They're never really singing the song the same way that if you pressed play, the song would take, like a full duration of a song, right? They're just singing one part, and they're maybe singing it a little bit fast, and they're maybe like skipping some of the dead silences that the song would naturally have with like a band, because they're in this like altered reality of time where they're just kind of singing the song really fast. They're just singing what's important to them. Well, when you're trading QFL, you have to play the whole song. You can't skip and just say, well, I'm sitting here right now and I want to buy and I'm going to force a trade to happen. With the QFL, I know it's like kind of a cliche. It's like you need to have the trade come to you. But that really is what's going on here, is that there's a lot of factors that are going on. Like it's forming the trade for you, but you have to understand where you're at with this whole thing. Like you have to understand it did go up 24% right here. And that's really easy to miss. And so my way that I've gotten around it is yes, I do have this indicator showing me all of my opportunities like that. It's automatically drawing the lines, and I love having that. There was another one that I showed in this other video, and this one's free. I was looking at Fartcoin. I'm like, it really is a thing. Oh my gosh. And this was the one that I showed in the other video. And this one is also phenomenal. So I do love these tools, but let's say you don't have these tools. Well, here's the thing of what you want to know is that at 90, right, half of that is 45, okay? And you need to be able to eyeball this stuff. And this really has, I've said this in like so many different videos, but here I am saying it again, because there is nothing better than just looking at price and saying, again, forget about all the zeros before this number. Boom, 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 9. Okay, so 9, and then you've got a 0 after that. So that's all we're caring about is that 9 and the 0. Half of the 9 and half of the 0 is going to be 45 right here. So here's my 45. That's 50% from the top down. You see what I'm saying? So if it's making its way in like a really short amount of time, 50% down, like that's so irrationally high that I'm willing to feel comfortable, feel safe that price is going to retract back up. As long as there's not like doom news tied to the situation, then that's all right. But now you can kind of get an idea of what's really going on, because now we draw this new base, and we could even say right here, like, okay, well, price was at 90. Now, since it's been, 50 more or less, like here's 50 right here, maybe like 52, 53. Then we can say, well, price was about 70, so like 35, right? And look at that, like 35 right here. You know what I'm saying? And so, boom, there's from 70, 35, that's 50%. And then it goes beyond that. It's like, no wonder he bought right there, because he's like, you have got to be kidding me. And then sure enough, boom, 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 boom. And these are, this is my chart, 4-hour candles. I mean, it's like 4, 8, 12, like you can see the 21st, 22nd. So 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Okay. Think about holding on to that much size for that many days and then watching it rise up 60%. So when you see him doing what he's doing and he's sharing his videos and he's like, it's so easy, what he's really meaning to say is that the actions that he is taking are very minimal and limited, okay? But that's the equivalent of like, oh, it's really simple. Like, here, I'm going to put you in this tent full of mosquitoes,
which is what this is like when you have that much money sitting right there. Here, go in this tent of mosquitoes, just don't smack your face. It's really simple. You just go into this tent and you sit Indian style and you put your hands on your knees and these mosquitoes are biting you, and and then price goes up, right? Like, he doesn't talk about that because he's probably so used to doing this for so many years that he doesn't remember that time where he felt irrational. And he's not going to tell people like, oh, you're going to be irrational, you're going to want to do this, you're going to want to do that, but you're going to have to like hold your hands and sit on your hands and not trade. And then if something happens in the meantime, I mean, like, it looks like he sold. Let's actually take a look at his thing. It looks like he sold like right before it went down. Imagine it starts going down and you didn't sell right there. Like, how terrifying that must be for somebody to sell. And then, it's like he didn't sell any right there. He just waited and then he, sold some right here. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the bigger picture. Because just going back to these pictures of what I was doing, if I could have had an opportunity where I wasn't working other jobs, doing other things while this was going on, I would have loved to have done the exact same thing that he did, but I didn't have the mental bandwidth or the capacity to really pull that off, okay? And I think it's important to realize that those opportunities are out there and they're always happening. Like, if we take this coin, for instance, right here, this was happening and, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have alerts set up. I wasn't even paying attention to what was going on with this coin. And so, it's one of those things where as it's happening, because I mean, you could say the same thing with this. Like, this came down, 48%. Now this is a 15-minute chart. This isn't, but I mean, you could say this right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a 1-hour chart. And so I could say in this case right here, like, there's 28, like, that would have been a great opportunity to get some size and then, do this right here. But I mean, this is a lot quicker. There's a lot more volatility going on. This is like a lot riskier to land a trade like that. But I'm just pointing that out that, these opportunities are coming up. It's just having that right type of being prepared for all of this stuff, because I feel like a lot of the people that aren't successful with QFL aren't really prepared. They don't have the alerts. They don't have their mindset correct. They're not, waiting for the market to get poised to have this type of volatility. They don't have the screeners to scan for the volatility. Like, all of these things add up. Like TradingView, for instance, I have tons of videos that cover all of these tools, but like, you can customize your crypto pairs screener, and you can have like volatility for the day. You can have volatility for the week. Like, apparently cow over USD is taking off right now. Let's take a look at that. Let's look at this on the here. Let's save this. Let's go to the Persum Solutions bot. You can see, like, I didn't necessarily have like an itinerary of what I wanted to talk about, but I knew kind of the general idea of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I mean, you can see right here, like, it was dead. And then now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now here's all of this like price action for like the 25th. And it all started in the past like couple of hours ago. And how much did this go up? So it went up like, 100% in like, wow. Well, really, in like 1 minute, in 1 minute, it went from here to here, and that's like 67%. So somebody just bought it up. It's, probably not the
biggest, most important coin. But anyways, that's really like the whole point. Or let's take a look at FTM. Let's see what's going on with them. Okay, yeah, it had this go down. But I mean, this is the name of the game. Is like you've got your information set up. You know what you're looking for. These were all things that I was doing when I was trading all of these different coins. Right here with the bots was, I didn't have all the time in the world, but I was setting up the robots to find coins that were volatile, and then I put the robots on those coins, and I had a lot of fun doing this. It was very stressful. Some of these that I was going over that I did not include, some of them looked like they looked really great like this, but then one of them would just kind of go outside of the bounds of my lowest layers for the bot, because I was trading on KuCoin, and they were the most volatile, but they were like the crappiest of coins, and I didn't have like the most money in all of them, because my money was like spread out between a lot of coins. But that is kind of the point that I really wanted to make, was that if I would have had this mentality trading these coins, that I probably could have spent less time with trading bots and made just as much profits just manually trading, if I would have had that same mentality, just knowing these particular numbers right off the jump and then memorizing them. Because right now I have them memorized, but I don't think that I had them internalized. You know what I'm saying? And again, just having those numbers memorized on this price scale right here, that's a game changer. And you don't have to have them memorized. You can use this tool, but if you're not using this measurement tool, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to make use of it. Or if you don't have anything, and when you look at this, like, you really do have to, like, if you were to look at this right now and you were to just say, okay, I'm going to use my magical, superpowers right now. Well, all right, I'm going to look 0, 0, 2. Okay, boom, down to 10. Holy crap, that's 50% off right there. And in this case, it might need to be like this, like right there. It's like, oh man, wow, that was at 20 practically. And wow, if it were to go down to here right now, that would be insane. And then boom, it goes down like pretty much almost to there, right? So when you're looking at it here, let's put like a horizontal line like that. Okay. So in this case, it would be like this. It would be like this. Price is going up right now. Oh my gosh. Be like, hey, would you buy it if it was back down here again? Be like, heck yeah. I mean, if it could go back up here, and then sure enough, look at that, bam, it came down. But when it's coming down, you're like, I don't know if I want to buy that. But not if you know that, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, this did happen over like a couple of days, so this is like a lot more trustworthy than this, like, it could be a pump or dump, or pump and dump. So that is the only downside to showing you this example, but it's got the same kind of mentality, just on a way faster time frame. But I feel like that has definitely covered the majority of what I wanted to touch on, and I feel like that there's probably going to be a lot more. I think one of the videos that I'd like to make next is, well, two videos. One of the videos I'm thinking about making next is a video for like the absolute, you don't know anything about crypto trading, and you're going to get set up to do trades like this without having any intense software or anything like that. You'll miss a lot of opportunities, but you'll still be able to trade just with like a phone and minimal know-how of technology. That's one video. And then the other video I'm thinking about making is, if I could go back in time and teach myself all the things that I know now, but back when I was first starting it, what those things might be. I think those would be two killer videos, just to add to the arsenal of great videos. I mean, there's a ton of videos. There's a playlist that you can go on this channel and find out. Maybe I can put a link to it or something. But I mean, those videos are priceless, and some of them are longer than others. But I mean, each one of those videos, I was talking about something very specific that wasn't talked about in another video, and so I think that'll be really valuable. So, all right, peace.